Hello everybody, my name is Walter and today I want to show you how you can build my improved 6 wide and stackable lava door. In case you're looking for the showcase or world download, you can find both linked in the description. But let's get started. So the door is modular, so the height depends on how many modules you want to build. Each module is 3 blocks high, but can be modified to be just 2 blocks high. If you need a height for the opening that is not divided by 3 cleanly. Beyond that, you also need 4 blocks at the top and 4 blocks at the bottom in height. The total width of the build is 18 blocks and the depth of the build is 6 blocks behind the lava curtain, with a little bit sticking out from the lava curtain at the top when the door is open. Now, those are the sizes. Now let's talk about the required resources. So, for the main circuit, you are going to need, of course, building blocks, which, by the way, shouldn't be anything that can burn, for obvious reasons. Then 5 slabs, 8 obsidian blocks or other immovable blocks, then 5 slime blocks and 5 honey blocks, 40 redstone dust, a single redstone torch, 21 repeaters, 2 comparators, 36 observers, 18 sticky pistons, 2 node blocks, 10 trapdoors, and a single button. And you may need a bit more redstone dust to get the button to where you can actually reach it. And of course, you're going to need the lava. Now, for each module, so every 3 or 2 blocks of height for the opening, you're going to need, again, building blocks, then 3 slime blocks and 3 honey blocks, 22 observers, 8 sticky pistons, and 10 trapdoors. And that's all you're going to need. So let me show you how to build this door here. Now the first step is building the floor in front of the future door. One quick side note here. Generally, the modules on the sides of the door are all 3 blocks high. You can also reduce the height by 1, so making 2 high modules. And by mixing those, you can get any height you're aiming for. If you need shorter modules, one option is to drop the floor 2 blocks down and add 2 high modules on each side. If you want to do that, you will also need an additional 12 blocks of obsidian or another immovable block to what I talked about earlier. So if you are aiming for those reduced modules at the very bottom, build as if the floor were 2 blocks higher, and later on I will show you how you can drop the floor the 2 blocks. Now with that out of the way, let's get started. Now basically the 2 sides are mirror images of each other, which means I will show you in the following how to build the right side and then mirroring the cuts towards the left. That means if you see a repeater going sideways, you need to mirror it onto the other side. If it goes towards the back, it remains going to the back. Similarly for other blocks like observers, torches, and so on. And with that, let's quickly talk about the shape of the floor I've marked out here. So basically the lava will fall along this line of blocks here. This is basically where the lava curtain will be. And those 6 blocks here will be essentially the beginning of the walkway in between the door. The other iron blocks I've marked out here mustn't be gaps in the floor. Otherwise, lava that flows down at this spot here will not flow sideways, but into the gap here and will spread out, and you're going to play the floor as lava quite literally. So those blocks here have to be some kind of block within the floor. The others can be full of gaps, but they can also be flat as shown here. Now with that finally out of the way, let's get started. So from the line of blocks where the lava will flow later on, we need to go 2 blocks to the back and then 2 blocks down. And that's where we need a 6 wide line of blocks with wire. Like so. Now, for the right side, I need a sticky piston going to the right. And for the left, I would need a sticky piston going towards the left right there. But as I said, I'm just going to build the right side and then mirror during the cut. In front of the sticky piston, we need an observer. Then 2 to the side, 1 down, a block with a 3-tick repeater. Then another sticky piston with an observer on top, going towards the back, running into a full block. Then we have on the outside some redstone wire on a block. And then on the other side, we have first a lowered block with a 2-tick repeater. 1-tick repeater. Then another raised block. Then we have a lowered block with another, this time 2-tick repeater. Then we have 3 blocks going to the back with wire on top and running into a raised block. Then around the corner a lowered block and another one. A 3-tick repeater, then a 4-tick repeater. Then we have a sticky piston with a block on top. Then a lowered block, another 4-tick repeater. Then another sticky piston with a block on top. Then a slab right there. Then we go basically all the way until we have a 1 wide gap. Put wire on top. Here a node block. Then here another block with a 3-tick repeater. And then an observer looking at the 2-tick repeater at the front there and running into the 3-tick repeater. Then an observer on top with some wire on top. Another observer on top of this 4-tick repeater with a sticky piston on top going inwards. Observer in front of it going towards the front. And then a block diagonally down here with some wire. Next up, we are going to need an observer looking at the node block from the front, top. Then observers going to the outside. Then a line of observers all the way around, on top of the line of observers below. Then observers on every other one. A block right there. Then blocks on top of this line of observers at the back there. And then finally a row of trapdoors in this gap here. And the main circuit is basically done. Last part is connecting this wire in the middle here, for example with a simple extension to the front with a button. And if we now press the button, we should see the sequence of trapdoor activations you can see here. You can slow down the video and also the game using the tick command if you want to compare. But that is the sequence we are aiming for. Now, in the following, I'll show you how to build a 3-high module, then a 2-high module, and then I will show you how to drop the floor by 2, as mentioned before. So, first, the 3-high module. So we start with observers on top of the trapdoors, then full blocks on top of those, and on top of those again, trapdoors. Then observers looking at those trapdoors, and the last one looking at the last observer from the inside. Then we need sticky pistons, 3 on the outside diagonally down from the observers, and then the 4th one below the next observer. Then we have 3 slime blocks with full blocks on top and below. On the other side, instead of slime blocks, you're going to need honey blocks. It doesn't matter which side has the slime blocks and which side has the honey blocks. You can alternate, you can have one side pure honey and the other side pure slime. It's completely up to you. And if we now were to press the button, you should see this coming out, being extended to forward and then retracted again. And with all of this working, we can just fill in the rest of this wall here, towards the back there. And everything works just as nicely. Now, next step is building a 2-high module so you can see how that works. Basically what you need to do is leave out this row of blocks and this row of blocks and move everything that is now floating one step down. So again, we start with observers on top of those trapdoors. Then no blocks, but instead directly the trapdoors. Then the observers. And the sticky pistons. And slime and honey blocks. And then finally a row of blocks. And if we press now the button, you can see it working just as well. Now, last thing to show you is how to drop the floor. Basically, you just drop the floor. And then what you need to do is For one, move this line of wire here also down, which I forgot to include in the command earlier. And run it into a block below this piston here. So then we need the wire. Then at this side, we will need, as mentioned before, obsidian blocks or another immovable block, and also those here need to be immovable. So those are the changes to the floor. Now we just need to add a 2-high module. And we already have the trapdoors in place, so all we need are the row of observers. Then sticky pistons. And slime and honey blocks topped with a row of blocks. And if I now were to press the button, you can see it working just as well. And somehow I deleted this block here. Yeah, but you can see how this is supposed to work. But in the following, I'm just going to build this with 3 high modules. And then once I have a couple of those, we are going to talk about the top. So 6 modules should be enough. So the opening will be 18 blocks in total. Now, the next step for the top is actually putting in the ceiling. And for that, we're going to start diagonally to the rows of observers here with obsidian blocks. And then the rest of the ceiling can be filled in with normal blocks. While working on that, I would recommend also adding a block in this corner and this corner here. Otherwise, you would get some gaps opening here when the whole top part here moves forward. Now, next step is the sticky pistons behind and slightly up from those obsidian blocks. Then in between, we need again raised, also 2 sticky pistons. And now I need again slime and honey blocks. And if I go from the alternating pattern here, I need the honey blocks on the left and the slime blocks on the right, but you can mirror this without any issue. Now, it's time for another 4 obsidian blocks diagonally like so. Then I need movable blocks in the middle there. Now, place 4 blocks like so. Then 6 blocks behind. On those, we need wire. Then on the outside here, we need 3 tick repeaters. And in the middle, 2 tick repeaters. Then raised blocks up there, followed by upside down slabs. Wire on the obsidian blocks there and the slabs. And then I need 1 tick repeaters connecting those. That is more or less this part done. So let's just check if it works by powering it. And we should see that we have forgotten about those blocks here in the middle. So now everything should be closed off. That looks good. And if we turn it off, everything should also retract without issue. Okay, next up. We need still to connect this here with the bottom part. And for that, we just need to go to one of the sides. This doesn't need to be mirrored. And place an observer there. This runs into a block. Then we have a lowered block there and a raised block. 2 tick repeater in the gap. Then we need 3 blocks like so. Then an upside down step there and 2 raised blocks here. Put a wire on those 4 blocks. Then a comparator here and another comparator there. Then grab a sticky piston, place it here with an observer powering upwards. Then diagonal to that a raised block. Next to that we need a sticky piston with a block to the face, below that another block and a torch on the side of that. And that is all we are going to need. So if we now go to the very bottom and press the button, you should see the top part here extending. And if we press the button again, it retracts again. And with that, the very last part is, for one, checking if you've closed off all of the corners, which is the case, and then releasing the lava. And once the lava curtain is in place, it's time for the final test of pressing the button here and seeing if everything works as intended. And that is looking very good. And final test is closing the door again. And yeah, no spillage, no surprises, which means we have reached the end of this tutorial for this improved 6-wide stackable lava door. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I wish you a nice day, and well, see you.